Protester throws glitter over British politician Keir Starmer during the Labour Party conference. Not only that, but he was also kicked out of a pub about to go down as the worst Prime Minister in the history of the United Kingdom. Before we get into the full video, I'd like to ask you for a small favour. If you enjoy this content, please take a moment to like the video and subscribe to the channel. It costs you nothing, but makes a huge difference to us. Thank you so much. It has only been 6 months since he entered number 10. Who knows how the next few years will turn out before the next election? This short period, chaos has erupted. Protests are growing louder, petitions are stacking up, and trust in leadership feels more fragile than ever. This is clear proof that he doesn't have the approval of the people. Yes, he won the election, but only with 35% of the vote. Hardly a mandate from to see what has been going on so far and why Keir Starmer is hated for his awful policies. You remember when the hashtag #2-tier Keir trended? That emerged after a series of conflicts involving the example, the government is housing a lot of migrants who are yet to see asylum. They are occupying many hotels and enjoying government funds. Firmly rejected the nickname and insisted he stood by the police. Well, we know he's lying. Then there's the petition for a new election. Over 2 million people signed it, accusing Labour of breaking campaign promises. It became one of the most signed petitions in UK history. Starmer shrugged it off on national TV, saying he wasn't surprised. For many, his dismissive tone only deepened their frustration, portraying a leader disconnected from public sentiment. Pensioners, too, felt the sting of his policies. His decision to cut the winter fuel allowance for all but the poorest elderly citizens sparked outrage. To be frank, this was a clear attack on the vulnerable, leaving many to wonder how they would heat their homes during harsh winters. Even some of his own MPs rebelled, calling it a cruel and unnecessary measure. Farmers weren't spared either. The inheritance tax changes on agricultural land left many family farms at risk. Generations of farmers called it an unfair blow to their livelihoods, claiming it would force them to sell their land just to pay off taxes. In fact, rural communities suffered the outcome of this decision, adding another layer to the growing discontent with his leadership. Keir Starmer's government faced heavy criticism for its decision to release over 1,700 prisoners early in an attempt to address overcrowded prisons. This controversial move sparked outrage among the public and political opponents alike, with many questioning its impact on public safety. This is clearly a wrong message about crime and punishment, potentially emboldening offenders and undermining the justice system. For families of victims, the decision felt like a betrayal, and it raised serious doubts about the government's ability to manage the penal system effectively. The backlash over the handling of far-right protests, particularly the Southport attacks, added to Starmer's accusations of a two-tier justice system, gained momentum as some believed the police treated far-right protesters more harshly compared to other groups. Tommy Robinson and his supporters amplified these concerns, accusing the government of prioritising political correctness over fairness. Starmer dismissed these claims, but his efforts to defend the police failed to calm public discontent. He called it remained a sore point, fueling criticism that his leadership lacked balance and accountability. Starmer's decision to uphold the controversial two-child benefit cap created further division. The policy, introduced by the Conservatives in 2017, limits financial support for families with more than 2 children. Many within his own party criticised the decision, arguing it would plunge more children into poverty and disproportionately harm working-class families. The public outcry was intense, with opponents accusing Starmer of abandoning Labour's traditional values of supporting the most vulnerable. For many, this was yet another example of a leader failing to prioritise the needs of ordinary people. The accusation of Brexit betrayal struck a nerve among Leave voters and Tory supporters. Kemi Badenoch's claims that Starmer planned to give away Brexit freedoms resonated widely, especially as reports emerged of potential concessions in his plans to reset relations with the EU. These included controversial demands like access to British fishing waters, free movement for under-30s, and oversight by the European Court of Justice. For those who had voted to take back control, this felt like a direct reversal of the Brexit mandate. Badenoch's fiery rhetoric painted Starmer as a leader willing to undermine British sovereignty for political gain, further eroding his support. Starmer's tenure has been defined by controversy after controversy, leaving many questioning his leadership. From decisions on justice and benefits to his approach to Brexit, his actions have sparked protests and petitions across the country. These moments paint a picture of a Prime Minister increasingly out of touch with the very people he promised to serve. Yet, the storm around him only seems to grow stronger with every passing week. Starmer is not capable enough. He has caused a lot of mess. Do you think he can change the situation around or succumb to pressure? Let's hear your thoughts in the comments.